Hey everyone, what's up? This is another episode of Deepest Dream. Right now, currently for this podcast, me and my buddy Deandra Miranda were doing a recap of RHORi, Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We were not able to do a recap of episode 6, but the good news is episode 7, titled Boats, Lies, and Videotape, is a part 2 of the series when the ladies and the girls go to a haunted mansion. I think the place is called in Newport, Rhode Island. How are you, Deandra Miranda? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. And a side note, I've actually been up to those mansions. It's beautiful. They do mansion tours, and you could really go inside, and some are museums, some you could rent like that. So it is a whole strip along the cliffside. And yeah, you can go mansion tours. So it really is beautiful. It brought a little nostalgia to me.
Oh, that's very funny because those episodes, episode 6 and the episode 7, which we will be focusing on this episode, there is a hint that it might be a little bit haunted. When you went on some of these mansion tours, did they feel very old and dusty and musky, or did you not even feel any of those type of vibes whatsoever?
No, they're really catered to. They're pretty much museums at this point. Like in Pasadena, I think you and I have been not together but separately. Is when you kind of do those architectural tours where the houses are. They just do tours. It's very museum-like. You can have a guided tour, self-guided tour. Eat on the grounds. But I'm really into the supernatural, so I think that anything past a certain time, it might be a little haunted. So I actually asked the same question when I was on my tour, being like, are these haunted? 1900s, 1912, they have to be.
They definitely have to be. Now,
I felt a little chill in the air.
Just a little bit of a little chill. Seaview Terrace is the specific mansion that they traversed, and that's thanks to Liz. I think she has some close friends or contacts that allowed her and her fellow ladies to spend at least a couple nights over at Seaview Terrace. And I marked down on the Google Doc the actual specs of the terrace: 29 bedrooms, 18 bathrooms, 43,000 square feet. That's
like the size of my place.
Hey, right. So well, I was going to ask you, it's the good thing about it is with 43,000 square feet, you're able to house Alicia and her dolls. There's enough rooms.
That was creepier than the nun who hung herself, allegedly. I think that the dolls are more of a scarier gateway than if these walls could talk type of atmosphere.
So within the last week, you checked out episode 6 and most recently episode 7. Your overall take on where RHORi is going. I think the last couple of weeks ago, you were saying you wanted a little bit more punch from the series. Is it delivering on the punch? What are you thinking so far moving forward to episode 8 before we start on the recaps?
Absolutely. I think it's amazing. I think that both episodes, especially 7, there's this really alignment of sisterhood. We'll get into it a little bit, but I really do feel like Joellen, literally, I think she's doing her girl a solid. It sucks. It doesn't matter about what Brian thinks. It doesn't matter about how the optics look of their relationship. I think she's really there trying to be a girl's girl. And they have that camaraderie, even when it came to just, as we're going to kind of get into, just the videotapes and the lies they seem so to be supportive. People are really addressing their feelings. I like the directness. They're also kind of getting over their issues. We see a little bit of Rosie and Kelsey kind of bridging a gap. We're seeing a lot of silliness as far as they have this dinner we're going to discuss, and they're all kind of really bearing their soul. And then
poor Ashley. Is she showing up?
Poor Ashley. She's still like, I wish I had something to cry about. So you know what? It's surpassed my expectations. It's something that I actually watched the last episode 3 times on repeat because it's entertaining. It's something that I'm kind of missing. I kind of picked up on little things that I didn't see the first time around, but just overall, I think, 20 out of 10 right now. Just wow.
Well, that's funny because you are the expert on the Bravo just community and the programming. I know you're watching some of the stuff so we can talk about it on the pod, but does Rhode Island have a rewatchability that the other series don't have? Or do you think all of the series have that rewatchability factor baked in from your experience of watching these shows?
You know what it is it kind of has so much craziness, honestly, that it's all talked about news right now. So the reason why a lot of times I feel it myself is you'll rewatch something is because it's really prevalent, right? you'll see something in the media and you're like, wow, like it was pop culture news. And I feel like with this show in particular, it's really giving pop culture. I mean, again, we're talking about a beautiful woman having an affair by a freaking nerd. Okay, sorry, but he is, you know what I mean? And infidelity and sugar baby, sugar daddy, and a news reporter who said she had to quit her job because she has explosive diarrhea or bleeding from her butt. There's just something that,
Colitis,
yeah, like there's Alicia with, again, her little quirkiness, and she like, there's something about these women that are very watchable because they really are authentic. And what I was gonna say, which all the other franchises build, is you can tell that these women really actually hang out. Sometimes I feel like franchises come together and the seasons, they kind of pull people, and they do, I think, have an overline connection, but they don't probably hang out outside of filming, right? Or they're probably kind of doing their job and showing up. You could tell these women just by the way that they really like respect each other, even underlying when they're maybe arguing or nitpicking, is there's a sisterhood that I feel like they have a sisterhood at season 1 that you start to get with other franchises season 10. You could tell that
no
there's
way. I didn't
there's
know that.
something you could just tell, like
It takes that long
no,
sometimes.
because sometimes it just depends. Certain franchises, they really are friends, or certain franchises, they're friends of friends and they come together. Again, like casting is really hard. You've been in this business a very long time. Like casting is very hard, where some people you need different factors, and some people get along and they flourish. Some people don't really do well on TV, and all these women, I have to say, they're really holding their own. But you could tell, like I don't think that this is a bond that they just got a bunch of women in their cast together. This seems like they got some women who were in a tight knit circle, and they've probably been connecting more throughout this experience. So it's great to watch because the cat fights aren't as nasty as some of the other franchises, which I like, because sometimes when it does get a little too nasty, that's when you start to be like, hey, you might need a recast, because it's just too much. This reminds me of ebbs and flows of normal relationships. And I will say, and again, everyone has their own opinion, but I think every woman in their own way is supporting each other. They really, really are. They're supporting Rula, supporting Liz, supporting Kelsey. So that's amazing.
We'll get the big, let's just get the elephant out of the room. So the big thing is, I know we're going all over the place. We're not going to do a linear recap. I think we're going to just jump. If you're listening to this episode, you're a RHORi fan. So we're going to just jump onto this right now. Towards the end of the episode, Jo Ellen says that she has a video with Brian and his ex-mistress, allegedly a couple of days before the polo event, when everyone congregated together, and we saw that several episodes ago. 2 days before that polo event, there's a video supposedly of him touching the backside of his ex-mistress and giving her a hug. Alicia jokingly says.
And kissing. It wasn't just embrace, it was kissing too.
Oh, sorry, I'm a guy. I'm trying to hide a couple things. All right.
Right. You're like, oh, that's no big deal.
Right. I don't know if I'm doing it consciously or subconsciously. I'm trying to just hide a couple of details. Yes, there was kissing involved. They said on the video. Of course, they don't show the video on the episode, but you see the RHORi cast members, look, at least most of them, at that moment, at that dinner engagement in that mansion, seeing the video. And I think Alicia was looking at the video too much towards the end. Liz was telling to Alicia, enough with that, right? Because in this episode, it's pretty funny because I love how Liz at times, because she knows Alicia for so many years, that she's the first one to get exasperated with Alicia, because they're just both OGs and they can get on each other's nerves and they love each other. But I think the most important thing is they have this damning video and they end with who is going to break the news, the video news, to Rula.
And says, not it. I don't want to. Do you want it? No, not that's it's a nuke, and it's only going to, you know what they always say, they say don't shoot the messenger, and unfortunately when it comes to infidelity, it never ends well for the person who says it. It just doesn't, and it's such an unfortunate thing, because as Jo Ellen said, is why aren't we talking about the elephant in the room? Is it's Brian. Don't even have. How about this? Don't even have the platform where this video exists. Why are we not talking about, it's not Jo Ellen's fault. It's not their fault that everyone's watching it at the after dinner slumber party. It's your husband shouldn't be even in a situation where a video is being produced, shared, and discussed.
Right. And supposedly the video was given to Joellen by a friend of hers who's a friend of the ex-mistress, but who knows where she got the video from. I'm sure there's other podcasts.
It doesn't matter. It exists, though. It shouldn't be existing, and you shouldn't be putting yourself in a position where it exists. We're at episode 7, and I'm so over. Well, she's out to get me. No one's out to get you. This lady, the mistress, allegedly, is wanting this to come out. This is 7 episodes that every single episode we have a prevalent, transparent, tangible piece of advice. Come on, what is it going to be at the reunion? Be like it didn't happen? It's like, it's 7 episodes. Clearly this mistress wants to be uncovered.
So that is one of the big quote unquote storylines for RHORi. There's going to be, I'm sure, more of an evolution of what's going on in the final 5 episodes. And then I'm looking forward to episode 8 as well. But speaking of Joellen, I was going to ask you, oh, do you think Joellen's pressing too much? That's a question that's been asked and answered quite a bit ad nauseum. But I think, Dee, I want to ask you, I think that the big storyline on that episode and I don't know, do you agree with me? Joellen confessing about her mother sending her off into what her mother claims was boarding school 3 times. In 7th grade, she was sent off to, you saw the episode 3 times, you know better than me. She was sent off for a week to a rehab center for taking drugs, which Joellen says she wasn't taking drugs. Then she was sent off a 2nd time. And then in 9th grade, she was sent off by almost a year.
Over a year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over a year. Over a year. Okay. And then there was partial custody taken by the state.
And that's when she decided to come. That's when the mom was like, okay, I'll bring her back.
Holy. And then so we're teased about an eventual discussion with Joellen and her mom. But it's very interesting in this episode because I think you see Joellen and Alicia, we all know that they've been friends from in the past, but when they go out on that excursion together, I forgot what they do. They just go out to hang out away from the crowd, from the mansion. You can tell that
they go on a mansion tour. They're just kind of hanging out outside. Yeah.
Outside. And they remember they had the driver who tells them about he used to live in that mansion. And you talked about the nun at the beginning, the nun who hanged herself. But I thought that was probably my quote favorite part of the episode because you could see the bond between Joellen and Alicia. And then Alicia gets emotional because she remarks how she relates to her because of her being homeless when she was a kid with her dad abandoning her, which on episode 6, which was sort of sad, Liz played it off as an exasperated joke, right? So it's very funny how that whole thing with Alicia being homeless turned on its head on a real note on episode 7. What did you overall think about that section of the episode and the bond that they have, which I think was really strengthened from that episode?
I think you nailed it on the head. I think it brought really strength, which I also loved. It was 2 women who really got to, not only did they get to connect, but following from the night before it seemed like Alicia, her biggest qualms have been even in her marriage and her childhood and everything is not really being able to kind of have her own voice and stick up for herself. So I also think it was really amazing that she was able to really share that with Joellen and not be interrupted by Liz, because I'm the same with you. I'm team Liz all the time. I thought it was in really poor taste that someone was expressing how they felt as a kid, and then just because you know someone's family,
you invalidate it.
You invalidate it, which for me, thank God that they're very close. But even as a bestie with you and me, I would have definitely at that moment cut you off and just been like, excuse me, my childhood experience is something that I'm saying that I went through. And I thought it was really dismissive. I thought it was kind of demoralizing. I think doesn't matter if she grew up in a mansion or not, you can't kind of mitigate a child's feelings. And it's the one thing that sucks about those small towns sometimes is just because you know the family doesn't mean you really know how someone's upbringing was or how their parents were. So I thought it really gave her an amazing connection where she got to really get off her chest and really express herself without us being like, oh, no, that didn't happen, or we know you. And so I thought I think she deserved that screen time and she deserved that moment, because imagine how many people it just connects with her fans and people out there who experience both of them the same thing, which first and foremost, I feel so bad is both of those situations shouldn't be happening ever. And my heart goes out to any of those people in the boarding schools and stuff, because it sounded miserable and very traumatic.
Yeah, she was talking about there were rapists there, and Joellen. I thought I was
Oh,
watching something. I thought I was watching something else. This wasn't RHORi. That felt like a really real moment between
it
the two.
was. It was. And it kind of goes back to the same thing where I think that after that moment in particular, I've never questioned Joellen's motives, but I did definitely do think is she's experienced pain, Liz experienced pain, Alicia's experienced pain, Rosie, Kelsey, not Ashley yet, but but
No,
it was
yeah,
one
come on. She's crying because she hasn't experienced
of
pain. Didn't you
but
watch episode 60?
but but I do feel like it kind of really did validate where I think Joellen just is, I think she means well with this whole affair situation. I just like she said is the mistress and her child, they go to school together. It's a small town. They're in probably the same age demographic and somehow acquaintances. And I really hoping that she gets a little bit of vindication because she seems like she's dealing with a lot personally, and she seems like she's a really amazing, empathetic, warm person. And I think that she even jokes that people think I'm the villain. I don't think she's the villain. I think she's probably seen a lot, dealt with a lot, and she's probably just a very direct woman. And
Right.
it could probably be transitioned into or translated into you want to kind of stir the pot, but she seems like a straight shooter.
Yeah. Joellen's grandfather passed away. I mean,
Yes.
that's number one. And then she talks about her childhood. That's very huge. And then there was questions about her job security because of this situation with Rula and Brian, and the fact that Brian tried to call her higher ups and possibly could have gotten her fired. And thankfully she wasn't. But obviously that's going to, I mean, we saw that earlier in the episode that it's a touchy situation when someone threatens your own livelihood, putting food on the table, paying your mortgage. I would understand because on the outside, someone you could say, "Oh, Joe Ellen, she should really stop pressing here." But there's a reason why she's pressing.
Rula said, yes, please give me evidence. If Rula was like, you know
Exactly.
what,
At the
I'm going to
polo
deal with
match,
this.
yeah.
I appreciate you so much. But this is what sucks about those situations is Rula wants more evidence to expose her husband. Her husband keeps on doing it. I mean, come on, listen. They went to the polo match on a Sunday or a Saturday. That video, it's time stamped. It was Thursday. So
Right.
it's happening in real time. So you know what? I think that they owe her an apology because you can't set someone up whether they don't work, they do work, they have small kids, they don't have small kids. You can't set someone up to be like, "Hey, please help me out, sister to sister, woman to woman, just because I want to have all the facts." And then the moment they give you the facts because they're trying to help, even if it's not helping, and then you go in and then the same thing, and then you kind of go and you, like you said, take food off of their table, threaten them, their family. I just think it's the reason why, and again, I keep on bringing it's but Brian's in this situation because the same thing. How about keep your you know what in your pants?
Right.
Just
Right.
keep it.
Exactly.
You're on national television. You're still with the mistress. You know there's going to be air. You're mic'd up. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I'm obviously loving the drama of reality TV, but you're humiliating your wife. You're putting her in a lose lose. I over the weekend I always catch up on these little housewife blurbs, and it's the same. It's like he's making this poor lady Rula physically sick,
That's why she couldn't
and
make the thing. Yeah.
but she is physically sick, and I can only imagine the stress and the grace which we recapped last week. And it's just like this guy's just bad news words. Just stop doing it. You don't need to call someone's job if you just stop. And clearly you're what you cheated on your wife with an allegedly with an unhinged woman. And now it's coming back because who would in this climate, who wouldn't want to be a topic of conversation on national television? Maybe this woman has something to pivot. Nowadays, people want to be recognized for this clickbait. Remember back in you and I when we'd cover stuff in the 2000s where you never wanted to be the mistress, you never wanted to be seen, you didn't want the paparazzi, you'd be like, okay, I'll meet you somewhere. Now, I think good press, I think people think good publicity is great. Any publicity is good publicity.
Sure.
And you literally dipped your toe in the freaking beach is going to have a tsunami. And I'm so over everyone blaming Joellen because it's just enough. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, definitely enough on her. And I totally get where she's coming from. And it's very interesting because this episode was really a lot about Joe Ellen stuff, which was very good about a lot of the stuff she's doing, about her situation with her as a kid, very resonant, emotional stuff. But on a lighter note, I think, and tell me if you disagree, I think the funniest person on this series, and it will be hard to take her throne ever while RHORi exists, is Alicia. I don't
Yeah,
really. Is
she
there anyone
is.
who's close? Maybe Liz can take it, maybe on an episode or two, but I think there's no one who comes close to Alicia.
I think Alicia's so funny. And it's not like this, but Alicia reminds me of a little bit of an Anna Nicole Smith. Not obviously the Playboy, but she's just airy, she's light, she's funny. I don't think she tries. She's someone who you could tell, and I think it's really endearing, but you can tell her age a little bit where I think all these voice memos and this, I just think it's one of those things where it's a generational thing. She's so witty and she's very, very lighthearted in the sense where we saw her get a little gangster when she dropped that line. But besides that, like, she's just a breath of fresh air. And I can only imagine why her husband so badly wants to marry her after 9 years, because she's really, really a very unique woman. And she's fun and jovial. And
My
and I mean,
favorite
her appetite, her and her
crackers.
cracker. Yeah.
Yeah, cracker. And
I had some crackers earlier.
I love crackers. And earlier on the series, in the season, I forgot to tell you, she also talked about her love, not just of dolls, but of, I think it was her, either her or Liz, but I think it was Alicia who says, I think she said she loves Fig Newtons as well. And that
Yes.
brought me, yeah, that brought me back to my own childhood when I used to eat Fig Newtons. So
I did too with my grandmother. I love Fig Newtons, love. And she goes, get a little bit of the jam in the middle. Yeah.
Alicia's great. My favorite Alicia line, though, I wrote it down on our Google Doc. She goes back to the mansion in her room and she said, Alexa, why is there a beetle in my room? That is the most. So it's a very, quote, light and airheady type of comment. But the fact that she phrased it that way, I think she knows that she is being a little bit lightheaded about things. And she's just naturally funny and she knows it, right?
I think she is too. Yeah.
She's
I really think she's actually funny. I think it's hilarious. I think it's one of those things where you know what it is? She's a nice breath of fresh air where it's just, again, she's like that, I guess, that northeast breeze. She's crisp, she's cool, she's refreshing. And yeah, I just think it's hilarious. And I mean, how about with her? I love Newport. It's only 25 minutes or 30 minutes via Uber because she doesn't drive. She owns her stuff. And I think that's hilarious. She really owns her stuff. And you know what? And I'm really loving her too, is because in the beginning, she really said she didn't bring too much to the table as far as working and finances. But you know what? She's bringing a lot to the table because, again, she's bringing 100% authenticity. And just, I would love to go get some crackers and some wine with her. And she cracks me up.
A second, and I'm going to finish this on Alicia. This is very, very quickly. My second favorite line is when they're talking about the haunted house. She says, I think there's some Caspers in there. And she says, the friendly ghost. And then
she makes it plural.
Yeah, and then she makes it
plural.
She
Ghosts,
is just,
so yeah, they're like, plural, yeah.
It's just very, very funny stuff. At least I'm glad that she could make things a little bit light, especially like you said, Dee, when she talks about the crackers. She mentioned about being hungry for crackers after her really deep conversation with Joellen. And obviously she did want crackers, but I think a part of her knew that by saying something silly, it would help lighten up the moment as well.
Agree.
Right.
And it also, for a lot of people too, is it's hard to break that vulnerability. And then when you do, sometimes people get a little self-conscious about it. See, maybe also with her, she just was like, wow, I had a great moment. But then we don't know what it's like to be on the other side, but it must be a lot of pressure to really open your soul and then be like, wow, I'm going to be in national television. When we've seen it with many housewives and a bunch of stuff is sometimes it impacts the families differently, where they kind of get a little guilted into it. And why'd you disclose this? And I'm all for team authenticity because it's, you know what? These women are bearing their souls, they're bearing their emotions. It's real time. And you don't have time to really think about, well, how's my family going to take this? This is how she feels. And this is who we get to experience with her. So I love it.
So my question to you, Ashley cries again in this episode. I think
every episode.
Okay, in this episode, she cries twice. She cries at breakfast because she was, again, defending Rosie. And Rosie's not even getting teary. She's saying, I just want to throw up. That's what Rosie's saying. And I love it when Rosie says that. And then later on, I understand Dawson is in their emergency room, the sick kid, and she starts crying a little bit. I understand that part.
Me too.
Okay, twice crying. She had to leave because of the emergency room. There's a lot of stuff that she did. She cried the last episode. Why am I feeling we're still not getting enough of Ashley? There are 3 cries in these 2 episodes. What's going on, Dee? What is your theory? I don't I don't feel it. I think I'm on your camp now. I'm not feeling Ashley's involvement on the show.
And hopefully I'm not right. Again, these are all assessments. We're just kind of like any other
Sure.
viewer is. I think that the stress of that coffee shop and not really connecting with her husband is getting to her where it's becoming very, very emotional. And I hope that she could break the fourth wall where she's touched on the fact that she's new in town as far as being somewhere for 4 years.
It's a great story.
I relocated to a city. It's very hard when you don't have friends. It's very hard when you don't have friends in the 30s. I'm in my 30s. She has kids. She has a husband that's always gone. They're trying to make this coffee shop work. I can only imagine just home life is probably compiled with, of course, finances and this on top of if your husband's working 100 hours, I can only imagine it might feel like a single mom at times. So maybe the crying is her way of maybe she just feels really out of control or not in control about certain factors of her life. So stuff is really getting to her. Like you said, she really stuck up for the underdog, Rosie. And Rosie, well, I don't need you to cry. I think she's being triggered.
Right.
I would really love, like I said, to break the fourth wall where hopefully from next episode moving forward, she talks about this stuff. Talks about, I'm having a hard time connecting with the girls. I really feel like I'm a single mom because my husband, I just, again, there's something that is is close to the chest. They're influencers, they're Bachelor alums, there's PR that you just have when you're on certain networks, ABC and all these platforms where it's, you really let that show you're on dictate. It's girl, you're on a reality TV. Now it's your time to just be like, hey, this was really difficult. I have abandonment issues. Maybe me. She has such a unique story. The fact that she's still on TV 10 years later, 15 years later, married her husband, has 2 kids. They relocated. She has opportunities for a new TV show that she's on. They have a coffee shop. Like,
You're right.
Stop the Bachelor pageant thing and this isn't ABC. Get into how crazy is your life that 10 to 15 years ago,
Yeah.
meeting the man of your dreams brought you back to a television show on national TV. Good, bad, and different. How do you not have emotions and a story behind this? It's too Bachelor-esque beauty pageant.
Her story so far has been hinging on being a peacemaker for Rosie, or Dawson is sick, or Jared's really stressed and working really hard.
What about you?
Right. What about her, right?
About you? Yeah, we're not worried about Rosie. And of course, Dawson, yes, it's her son, but
she's been deflecting, right? I think that's what she's been deflecting the entire series. And maybe, I don't know, like Dee was saying, it is an assessment up until episode 7. Maybe things will change the next 5 episodes. I will say this, 7 is more than 50% of 12. So we're more than halfway in. And let's see how the next 5 episodes last with Ashley. And I'm going to ask you about this. At the beginning of episode 7, Rosie off-screen interview, she just jokes and she describes Kelsey as a high-end squatter. And I remember when we started this podcast, I was saying that Rosie is an ish starter. I thought what was very interesting, and you know this, towards the end, when they're talking about the found video of Brian, you have all of the girls, they're talking, and Rosie's off in the corner, and they're discussing it. And for most of the season, Ashley was talking about how Rosie feels like the outsider of the group. And Rosie herself said she felt like the outsider of the group. But at the end of the episode, even though Rosie did not contribute much to that sequence, I think overall, she feels more like part of the group. Even though she has that big rivalry with Kelsey, and we're going to get to in a second, I just feel like she's organically part of RHORi. Do you agree, or how do you feel about Rosie's situation with that whole clan?
No, I do. I think that there's definitely she's starting to show a little bit of her maturity level where I think she just clicks really well. It's weird how perception is so unique where she doesn't feel like she clicks in, but I think she has great assessments. I think she has the balls to be in a situation that might be with her, not with her. She makes funny jokes. There's a little bit of shade.
Stands her ground.
She stands her ground a little bit. I think that she's not giving herself as much credit and it's not reporty. She's starting to come into her shell where she is being like, hey, listen, I am inquisitive, but at the same time, it's like, I'm your friend. I deserve to be here. I'm the ish. She's even clapping back where they keep on talking about her house. And well, what home do you own? She's really, I think starting, yeah, I think she needs to give herself a little bit more credit where she might not feel like the cool girl, but she definitely has a stake in this for sure. And I don't feel like I feel like how she feels, Ashley should actually be feeling more. Ashley's not really
Right?
connecting. Rosie's connecting. She's showing up. She's really engaged. But she's also, even with conflict, she doesn't shy away from it. You know what I mean? She's not someone who's, I'm not going to go to this lunch or dinner or whatever. She has a hard conversation. So it's interesting how her insecurities, I'm surprised that Ashley doesn't feel that way.
Okay, so I'm looking back at the notes from just a couple of episodes before on I think Watch What Happens Live. I believe that's the show, right, D?
Mhm.
Rula says she hangs out the most with Ashley, Rosie, and Alicia. So I think that bodes. I don't worry about Rosie and Alicia, but I think that's good that Rula and Ashley are friends. I'm just encouraged. I just hope Ashley becomes more a part of the whole equation because I understand deflection. I'm a master. We lived we had our own experiences in downtown LA. I would always deflect. I'm a big deflector. I don't like to talk about myself. I know
Yeah.
that mechanism. You don't
Yeah.
want to shed spotlight on yourself, so you spend your energy focusing on other people. And do you think Ashley's willingly doing that? You think or is she willingly just keeping things from us? Is she smart about it? Or do you think she just is a closed person and eventually she'll open up? I wonder if it's like a manipulation she's doing. Like,
I,
I
I,
understand
I
that.
I feel like it might be because I don't understand how you're a closed off person and you're on national television for the last 15 years. Again, I'm not saying everyone is, it's not Girls Gone Wild, but there is an element on being on TV and being an influencer in front of the camera that isn't necessarily, listen, Terry Tomato, everyone out there could say what. It's like, yeah, but like when you're on a Bachelor, which is a competition dating show, you're not really the most introvert. You're someone who's pick me, why. I think it's a little bit of a manipulation tactic as far as maybe her and her husband don't know where they want their image to go. And maybe like we've seen in different franchises is if she's a part of a family, maybe her husband, hey, keep it a little straight laced, keep it a list. We have two little kids, our image. Maybe it's he
That's
doesn't
fair.
want, maybe they had a family conversation of you will be on the show, but it might have to be a little bit manipulated because then they don't want the rumors to happen with them or this or hurt their small children. So that's always something when you have small kids that's really difficult in these shows is because as you'll see on reunions and other franchises is when stuff will affect the kids. I think that when Rula says that her and Ashley are friends is I think it's like I think that's a really tactic. I think is yes, they both have small kids, but also Ashley seems like a very nice golden retriever.
Yeah.
Kelsey and Liz and Joellen are going to be like, "What's up, bitch? What's going on?" Where it seems like Ashley will be like,
Right.
"Okay, Brian's cool." Yeah, like she seems maybe a guest friend, and it might be a little convenient right now, so you don't have to really overly explain yourself or
As
be in a
opposed to people you have
position.
blood history with, right? You
Yeah,
go
and
back
asking,
years.
"What are you doing?" Yeah, it seems like it might be a little bit of a tactic to just be like, "I'm going to keep this friend around because she's an easy yes person." Now,
Right. Yeah, not too
Rosie's
much stress.
someone, yeah, she just again, we all have those friends where it's like they're they're not going to ask us the hard questions and we're not going to have to produce an answer for the hard questions. There are some people where you'd sit down and you're like, okay, I know, but there's some people that are just like, how's the weather today? So I think it seems like a little bit of an alliance, a little bit. And then again, small children, I just think it's when you do have small kids and you live in an area, they must commingle. So
Mm.
it seems 50-50. I think that, yes, Ashley and Rolla seem like they're very just pleasant women who probably don't want to get too messy. But it definitely seems like both of them are thinking about their families and their husbands, which is leading them both to not the best viewership because it's like Rolla's worried about her husband or family in the negative way, where she's not really showing up for herself and her feelings and the truth. And then Ashley's kind of living, maybe she's trying to be like the good mom and wife where it's leading to just a lot of boringness.
Right. I mean, there's even that scene where they're doing the slip and slide water thing on the mansion, and some of the girls are flirting. You have Kelsey flirting with the butlers, and they're in their early 20s. One of them looks really
It
good. I
was
think
innocent fun.
innocent
I think
fun.
it's innocent.
Yeah, innocent fun on the water slide, and then you have Liz leaving because she said she's 56. She doesn't want to be flirting with guys in their early 20s and she's just on a slip and slide, and I'm
I do.
laughing.
I will. 56. I'll be like, excuse me, Boris, or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Please give me
Boris
more
was one of them.
champagne. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boris and Robert were the were the
Yeah,
butlers.
I would. I'd be
That,
like, "Excuse me." Yeah.
that was fun, but it's funny because then the big Ashley scene is Ashley going to check on Liz, and the whole scene is the drama of Liz getting away from the situation. And you were mentioning boring. Ashley is, I think, from a lot of these episodes, the ones who tries to connect the dots and deflect, and she's the person who's just filling in these gaps in the sentences when she's not a big sentence herself. And I think there's a place for that. But D, you're more experienced than I am. Is there a place for that long term or
A friend rule. I think, and
okay?
there, again, there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with being a friend rule. Some people were friend rules for a long time until they became the main cast. Again, and what's great about this platform, but just reality TV in general, is it could change. So it could be a friend, knock it out of the park, be really great. People love them, get promoted, get demoted. It depends. But still, even with that situation, right? It was all fun. It was good time. They're on a girls' trip. Same thing. Ashley could have literally brought in a glass of rosé or shots and just been like, "Oh my gosh, girl, I'm married. I get it. Let's take a shot." There could have been that connecting moment where
sure.
it's like younger and hipper. And it's, I don't know, when I go check in with someone, if they're okay and we're all partying out there and it's a beautiful time. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a drink in hand and just be like, "Oh my," I just think that, again, there's the connecting, which is great, but it's good to connect also when you're diffusing a situation. But that was just also the thing where it was like, see a good looking person without their shirt. It'd be like you guys wanting to see a nice good looking girl in a bikini. It was good quality fun. Nothing was crazy.
Yeah, nothing.
And
Yeah,
even though he was uncomfortable, Ashley, I think at that moment should have actually spent more time with the younger girls and connected with the younger
exactly.
girls and
Yeah.
had that fun and had that "I'm on a mom vacation right now." And she really, I think, missed the mark to connect with the other two women and really show her fun and youth by going and seeing if Liz is okay, because Liz is fine.
Mm. Now, my final question before we're done with the Rory recap is, will Kelsey and Rosie ever be real friends? Because that makeup session, that them making up felt like the fakest thing I've ever seen on the entire
Well,
season.
you saw the preview for next week, right?
Right. There's Rosie,
That's gonna be a blowout.
yeah, slamming the door on Kelsey, and that's going to be
Kelsey
a
called her
blowout.
a slammed pig, remember? You're
Yes.
nothing but a slammed pig. I've never heard that term. I'm guessing that means a hoe,
Right.
right? Is
Rosie
that a hoe?
is, yeah, I'm assuming. And Rosie is, when she can be mean, when she wants to be. She, like you said, like we said, she stands up, she stands her ground. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But do you think there's a chance that they can ever be real friends, or are they just going to be great ratings frenemies throughout this series? What do you think?
I think probably just rate. I think they might just be frenemies. And what's
Sorry, that's
interesting,
all right.
maybe frenemies. And what's interesting is, and again, we're so new, we're not professionals. I'm not a psychologist, but I'm starting to get a weird hint of I think Rosie might be a little jealous. There's because Elsie really just minds her own business. There's nothing that, yeah, okay, her
Hmm.
lifestyle is not really what people are into, but there's nothing that she's not, no, she's not bitchy. She's not really controversial. She's not really. I mean, listen, I'm a Housewives fanatic where I'm used to Atlanta, Potomac, New York, Miami, like things where it gets insane. I'm talking about wig snatching, telling someone that they're pimping out their daughters, really below the
Wow.
belt type of stuff, people who go crazy, fist fights, not that I'm condoning, but it's just it's a little. Rosie somehow really has a target on Kelsey's back, and they're both great in their own, but it's a little it's a little getting for me tiresome. Where it's, so she's a sugar baby, she owns it, she led with it, she didn't hide it. As we guys saw on Watch What Happens Live, and it's new news, we're not spoiling anything, but she broke up with the guy. She's with a new guy. I think her thing is just, again, she wanted to be on her own. She met another guy. Kelsey just seems like a woman who likes to be a kept woman. And
Hmm.
I don't know why it bothers Rosie so much, because it's not any, but besides the hairdo tag and something else, or it's, it's, and they'll be frenemies because I think Kelsey also is nice, and I would, and just team Kelsey in this one. I hope moving forward, she just starts reading her ass, because it's enough. She has a sugar baby. Okay, her boyfriend's older or whatever. She's being taken care of. Like she said, and many people do. You date someone for 10 years. It's not also good for your a fiance boyfriend to just kick you on the street. For someone to kind of help you get on your feet when you haven't done it in 10, 11 years, it's a noble thing and it's a testament to your relationship, right? Whether you
Of
guys want
course.
to, whether you want to harp on the age or whatever, it's like, it's a nice thing to do is be like, hey, they haven't worked, they haven't really gotten their resume together, whatever. I will help out for a bit. But it's just the same with a divorce or
Same
a
thing.
long-term partnership where let them get on their feet a little bit. Let them use this platform to maybe make some connections. And I think it really just showed that the respect that they have for each other. But I think Rosie needs to get off it. Sorry you weren't a sugar baby. Are you jealous? And I hope moving forward that Kelsey, as nice as she is, yeah, she's single. She has this new guy she's talking to. She's going to start a new career. And I'd start getting a little lippy because it's enough. You know what I mean? What is the problem?
That's
There's
very interesting.
really nothing. And she's so polite about it. So I'm not saying I want to see any physical violence or condone it, but I hopefully in this next episode that they previewed, she starts sticking up for herself. Back off a little bit. What are you worried about?
I was reading some comments on Bravo on WWHL and the After Show podcast, and I was surprised. There's a whole bunch of people. Maybe they're spamming or trolls, but some of them were saying that maybe Kelsey's jealous of Rosie because Rosie has a husband who's successful in developing lots, and they have they're making their houses bigger and they're flipping it, and she's had a career in the media and Kelsey hasn't. I'm just saying that's what I've been reading. Okay, so it's very interesting that there
Kelsey
are.
seems more like a Leisha where she wants the life of. Kelsey doesn't seem like she's jealous of Rosie having all that because I think if she wanted to, she would have. You know what I mean? Kelsey seems like she's a life of leisure where she might want the next husband to fund her lifestyle and she could do her job a little bit, but still kind of have time to relax. Yeah, they don't seem like the jealousy doesn't seem to even on the other way. But what do you think?
Interesting.
What about
I,
Watch Happens Live? What do you think?
I just, well, I think they're both very interesting people and they both stand their ground. And I think this just sounds very sappy. I think they just had bad timing. If they synced it up together, they could be very good friends because both of them are very strong-minded. I'm thinking of how Liz and Alicia are good friends. They could have been that new generation of them because they're just so strong-headed and strong-willed. Even though they're completely different, they don't take ish from anybody, right? And I think if they met on different circumstances, or if someone didn't throw the rock at someone else the first time, et cetera, it would have been an interesting watch. But maybe it would have been a more boring watch. I don't know if they ended up being.
You know what? But you never know because especially right now it's so new. Maybe there's just a competitiveness. Maybe they're very close in age and they're like, who's going to be the youngest
top dog?
But Ashley already has her family and married and she's done it. She doesn't seem like she is. Maybe that's what's getting in the way of them is with every show, whether it's scripted or not, is someone wants to be that top dog. And maybe we're seeing a like Britney Christina, like 2000 era, where someone, maybe it has nothing to do with the jealousy or whatever, but maybe someone's, I'm going to be the new queen bee. And it's like a battle royale right now.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah. Okay. So that is
it might
it
be
for
a popularity contest, not a I want your life contest.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So that is episode 7 recap. Tell us what you think so far of RHORi this season. And I apologize for just keeping it RHORi instead of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We will be back hopefully next week for episode 8. We never know. I told Deandra before I had a really bad stomach ache. And when we started talking about RHORi, the pain.
They went away.
The pain is just weakness leaving the body, right? When it comes to RHORi, right?
Listen, these women are nursing you back to health. They're being like a nice Jewish bubby over there. They're making you feel like they're nursing you to health.
I never thought for a guy who just spends his days making 0 cents watching indie movies that no one will see that I would end up spending so much time watching RHORi. And that's all thanks to you, Dee. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy. And you know what's great about it is we've had way more to talk about than any of your other movies. I'll tell you that. You're going to make more than 0 cents. And you're actually putting your 2 cents in where the other ones would be like next. Yeah. So who would have thought that these beautiful high maintenance women would have really flourished, even strengthened our friendship too and our creativeness.
Yeah, they're high maintenance. They're funny. I think the most important thing, at least for me being a new viewer of these Real Housewives shows, is they're interesting.
They are.
I wonder. I might start dipping my toes into the other ones, but I don't know if I'm going to be pleasantly surprised or pleasantly or disappointed because I think RHORi is such on a high level right now, and you know better than me. It's doing really well this season, huh? Is it? It's getting a lot of chatter.
It is doing all the chatter, and it's something that, we can even discuss a little bit later. We'll actually leave everyone with a cliffhanger. Is a lot of people are suggesting that the reason why Rula is choosing not to address it is because now the tables are turned where they're saying maybe Brian has something on her where she
Oh,
doesn't want to
okay.
talk about. And again, this is what I love about this platform, and you're going to start getting into it. Is it could go with this type of platform and these type of shows, it could really go in a complete 180. They're saying if she does financial advising, maybe she did something a little bit unkosher. Maybe there's something that he knows, because why is it she's so choosing to be blinders, and it's not just because of the kids.
Oh, very or the
So
yeah, they're just keeping the
so
family,
th-
keeping.
this
Oh,
is this is it. Is sometimes it's maybe something is just, maybe it's an iceberg right now about everyone else, every one of the cast member, where maybe, it might come to surface a little bit. And what's great about it, like we always tell our viewers, is you could always watch these out of order. We're always in order. We kind of love the fact that we just talk and recap, and we definitely would always like to hear what you guys think, your thoughts, any questions you have as well. And as always, it's very, very entertaining.
all right. We'll see you guys next week here on Deepest Dream. Take care.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.